Hello everyone, my name's Phil and welcome to the first Pixel Tavern Spotlight on Extra, a series all about independent developers making the best fan games and mods around. In this video I'll be interviewing Masterz1337, the lead developer of Halo SPV3, an incredible fan remake of Halo CE. Welcome Masterz and thank you for your time today.
Thanks for having me on, and I really love the stuff you've been doing on your channel. So,
thank you very much, man. It's been a very good week.
Yeah, some more attention.
Yeah, it's been quite a rapid jump in subscribers, I must admit. Didn't really expect that, and the views just seem to keep climbing. So I asked the community for any questions they have for you, and any of the development in general. So we start off with the first one we've got today from MC Butter Lettuce. He asks, what inspired you to make this overhaul of a mod in the first place, and what made you go into the modding community in the first place?
So this is going to be a kind of interesting answer, and I think a lot of people can probably relate to this, especially with some of the disappointment people felt with Halo 5. When Halo 2 came out, I rushed home, I played it, and within a week I sat down and I'm like, I don't enjoy this game. Like, how come, why was Halo 1 so much more fun than this? And to this day, I still really don't like Halo 2. It's probably my least favorite or second least favorite of the Halo franchise. But that's from there I was kind of thinking, well, what they have all these cool ideas and it's not fun. So I started messing with the Halo 1 on PC because we had the editing kit at that time to try to recreate Halo 2, but as I called it, my 15-year-old self, the right way.
Yeah.
And that just kind of led to one thing to another to where we got today. And in many ways, SPV3 is a spiritual sequel to Halo 1 in that it's trying to take everything that was great about Halo 1 and its sandbox and gameplay and build on it as you would for a sequel, unlike Halo 2, which took a lot of stuff from Halo 1 and reinvented it.
Oh, sure, okay. So yeah, it was more just wanting your own version of Halo 2 after the disappointment you had with Halo 2 itself.
Not necessarily Halo 2, but an evolution of the first game. That would be fun. And Halo 1 was just the best way to make that, because it has just such a diverse amount of encounters and levels, and they're all good. So being able to see how the sandbox changes would affect my enjoyment of the game was something that I quickly got into using on quickly got into doing in Halo 1.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, I'm glad you added in a lot of the features of Halo 2, especially hijacking vehicles and stuff, because that was pretty much the best introduction from that game for me. But yeah, I can see why you were disappointed with Halo 2. I mean, I was myself when I first played it, although I still enjoyed it in a sense. It was still didn't have that replay value of Halo 1, obviously apart from the multiplayer, but yeah, it didn't quite do it for me.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's a lot of good stuff in that game. Some of us would like to joke we like Halo 2 except playing it. But there, whether there's even if the game is terrible, even if you love Halo 2, if you love Halo 5, if you hate Halo 2, if you hate Halo 5, there's always good ideas in there. And Halo 2 is ripe with good ideas. So a lot of what we do with this project is looking at good ideas, what we think is bad execution or problematic execution, see where things worked and see where they didn't, and try to incorporate that in a way that we think honors the gameplay loop and what made Halo 1 so special to play.
That's fair enough.
And you see a lot of that actually in our commander missions, which are very Halo 5 influenced. Everything from the way the player moves around to having the squad system, the storytelling, looking for clues, reviving your allies. You don't want to stand still ever when you're playing as the elite because the number of enemies are so vast that you quickly get overwhelmed. So like Halo 5, you're always on the move. You're rarely recovering and waiting for your shields to recharge because the shields are so strong. It's just a matter of running around as fast as you can, making quick moves, getting in close, using your abilities, things of that nature. So our commander missions are sort of like the I guess you could call it a Halo, we kind of gave Halo 5 the SPV3 treatment with those missions, just like we gave Halo 2, 3, and Reach the SPV3 treatment with everything else.
Cool, okay, we'll move on to the next one then. So this is from AR Knight. So will you be reworking on Halo 2 at any point after you're done with Combat Evolved? and if you guys did work on a different game, but with this kind of sort of mod to it, what game would you choose and why?
So Halo 2 is nowhere near as moddable as Halo 1. With Halo 1, we have 15 years of community tools, never mind the original tools that Bungie used. That said, I am kind of interested in looking at doing some small stuff with it. Just editing some values and rebalancing it on my own. It's something I've wanted to do for a while and just have never been able to dedicate the time to. So I do want to do that, and when I do that, I'll probably be doing just public posts of it in the SPV3 Discord for people to try.
Sure.
So it's not going to be like a big project like SPV3. It'll kind of be like, hey, like guys, like I just did this, like go check it out. What do you think? And I'll take feedback from there, and if people like it, I'll continue to work on it. If not, I'll probably just drop it.
Fair enough. What's the first thing you'd want to change with Halo 2?
Oh man, that's a tough question. Kind of what I'm thinking at now is I would like to be able to try to replicate as many Halo 1 values in 2 as possible, but I don't, from my understanding, what I've looked at it, that's really impossible to do. Even the way damage is calculated in Halo 2 is very different than Halo 1. So like in Halo 1, if you want to like up the damage of the plasma rifle versus a shield or a certain type of enemy flesh, you can just easily go in and change the percentage multipliers.
Okay.
Halo 2, it's all tied to materials in a different way and like damage classes. So you're not changing the value of that individual damage effect. You're changing it on that class of damage effect.
Okay.
Like plasma fast, plasma slow, and I understand why they wanted to switch away from what was in Halo 1, but I just don't think it worked as well for the gameplay aspects of the game.
That's fair.
So, with that in mind, I really enjoy Halo 4 and Legendary, so I would like to take over as many values from Halo 4 and copy them over into Halo 2. Shield strength, damage, things of that nature, even stuff in the AI that has a 1-to-1, and try to see if I can get Halo 2 playing more like Halo 4, and then from there, work on smoothing out any rough edges in the Rise, whether they're from 4 or left over from 2.
That would be cool. I mean, I did quite enjoy Halo 4. It felt like it did take away some of the things I enjoyed about traditional Halo, but it did feel very balanced from what I played of it. So yeah, I think that would work quite well, sort of making it match kind of 343's version of Halo.
Yeah, I think it would be pretty cool. I know some people will probably hear this and be like, what the F? Like, why would you do Halo 4? But, it'll be there and it's free for people to play, so you can decide if and when I do it.
Yeah, exactly. If not, they can stick with Halo 2.
Yeah, exactly. You got like 3 or 4 versions of it out there now. So
yeah. So the other question from AR Knight as well. So if there was any other game that you could work on in this way, what game would you pick? If it was not Halo related.
I would love to take Gears of War and turn it into a Terminator.
Turn it into Terminator.
Yeah. Well, there was when Terminator Salvation came out, like actually literally just about 10 years ago now. They did a video game for the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
And it was pretty. Yeah, it was. I mean, it's your typical movie cash grab game, but it had a lot of really cool ideas in it, and it was basically like a Gears of War prototype, but with Terminators and like different robots and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was for what it was good. It's worth checking out if you can pick it up at GameStop for like $5.
Nice.
If you can ignore the rough edges.
That was not the answer I was expecting, but yeah, I do remember that game. I never got around to playing it, but I do remember seeing it advertised and thinking it just looked like Gears of War.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad thing. So
there's one more from AR Knight. This one is the last one for him. I thought it was quite an interesting one there. So will you be working on any original games in the future?
No, most of our team is not interested in doing an original game or doing anything outside of Halo. We're more Halo fans than we are video game development fans. I mean, it's old, but there's also a lot of advantages of doing stuff. The first one being that we know the tools backwards and forwards. And when we don't know something, it's always fun figuring it out.
Yeah, I mean, how long have you been working with the tools now?
15 years about. Just
oh,
about.
Wow.
So that will be 15 years.
Fair enough. So, well, pretty much since release then, really, yeah?
Pretty much since Halo 2 came out.
Oh, wow, yeah. What, course.
Before that, I was modding, like doing more basic stuff on the Halo PC, and not custom edition. So I wasn't using the actual tools, but I had an understanding of how the games worked.
All right. Well, we'll move on to the next question then. So a bit more of a long one. This one's from Anas Ahmed, R at the end of it as well. So it wants to ask about your routine, how sort of the team came together in the first place, what the atmosphere was like, and how they managed to pull all of this off.
Man, that's a loaded one.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not many people left from the beginning. There's still people who are around. I mean, I'm the founder and still here, but if I had to go over each and every person and how I met them and how long they've been around, I'd be here for a while.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But I would say the way we managed to pull it off is that we've always consistently made stuff that got people excited, that was fun to work on. And I think the fact that it was such a big project was actually a good thing rather than a small project, because when you got burned down on one thing, it was very easy to jump to another thing and just hop back and forth until you eventually you have to get everything back together. Everything has to come together, and that's never that fun when you have to do the stuff you've been wanting to put off. But we've always been able to do that.
Yeah, you can kind of, rather than being stuck in one area, you can always jump onto other things.
Yeah. I do want to add, because he asked, it's not possible without a good team leader, and I don't want to prop myself up, but I will say one central thing that has kept us together, and a lot of people probably won't like this answer, but it's really about diversity and respecting each other. Our team has people on it, who are, gay, Latino, LGBTQ, Jewish, and if we descended into some of the stuff you see online, or even excused it, we would not stay together and we would not have this thing. A lot of love and understanding for one another, and as much as people may want to try to discount diversity and politically correct culture, if they want to call it that, even though I kind of disagree with the way it gets used, especially in stuff like this. You won't have the best people together. And the best thing about our team is that when there's somebody who's good and talented, we all get along, we all respect each other on every level, and we stick up for one another when someone, especially when someone decides to attack someone or make a joke at their expense based on something they can't help. Autism too. We have people on our team, or have worked with people who are autistic as well.
Yeah.
And worked with people who are trans as well. And, we wouldn't be able to do all this if we just, were like, haha, you're stupid, you're gross, because that's not what they are, and that's not how you treat people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thankfully, I work in an environment that's very similar, actually. Yeah, it's the best way to work, really. When you've got that kind of diversity across your whole working environment, it makes it not only more friendly, it just makes it more interesting. You've got people from all walks of life that you can have a chat to, and you make friends with pretty much everybody in that kind of environment. And yeah, definitely the best way to work, really.
Yeah, I mean, we're also international. We have people in Australia, India, South Africa, United States, I believe Argentina. We have people whose families have come here from Mexico. I mean, we have Italy. I'm trying to think if we have anybody in Asia. Right. Well, I guess it counts as Asia.
So you've got a lot of remote workers then. So you've got you kind of constantly transferring information across to each other then.
Yeah, that's why my sleep cycle sucks sometimes.
Yeah, I can imagine it keeps you up.
Do we have somebody on every continent? Seems like we do.
Yeah.
We have North America, we have South America, we got Australia, we got India, which is Asia, for those who don't know that. Hope you do know that. And people in Europe too, so yeah.
Have you got anyone in the United Kingdom at all?
Not who works on the mod on a day-to-day basis, but certainly people who contribute and have been partners and stuff.
Oh, fair enough.
No one who's day-to-day or currently day-to-day in the UK.
Right, so we'll jump on to Zach Baldwin's question next. So he asks, will there be your own version of Firefight mode?
Yeah, so we have a Firefight mode planned. It doesn't have any sort of multiplayer in it, just a single-player experience where you fight off waves, but we have some really interesting progression systems in it. which I think people will enjoy, and we'll have more on that this summer.
Ooh, interesting.
And as far as multiplayer, we're never going to mess with multiplayer in the Halo 1 engine. When the MCC PC games come out, and if they're, depending on what modding capabilities there are, that's something I would definitely want to look at. But I'm not really sure how well my vision for multiplayer would work for a lot of people, because I would very much like to do something more akin to something that's battle royale or class-based, rather than traditional even starts and things like that. But the good thing about this stuff is if you make it and it's good, people will play it. And if it's not good or they don't like it, you know, they're not spending their money. It's always there just to experiment with and see. And if we can get a loyal following of people who really enjoy it, that's great too. So
yeah, you definitely seem to have gotten a loyal following, that's for sure.
Yeah, so hopefully our ideas, even if they're not traditional Halo, people will like and want to check out.
Cool.
If we do it. That's all assuming we get the right tools. So if you want to see it, be vocal and let 343 know how much you want modding tools and modding support. And real tools like we have for CE. And not something like we got with Halo 2 Vista or something watered down.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would love to see sort of mods for all of the Master Chief Collection. I mean, I've been waiting for years for that to get announced for PC, because it would just be perfect for the modding scene, really. So hopefully they do what you guys are looking for, and you can get everything out of it that you want. Okay, so we'll move on to, so this person's name is This Took 2 Hours. They ask how Halo 2 story should have been done properly, and what it would be like if you made it.
I mean, I've thought we actually, one thing we considered doing after SPV3 was remaking Halo 2 into a 5-mission game of like our own version of Halo 2. But we decided not to go that route for a variety of reasons. But basically, the way I would start it off, I love the First Strike book, but if you're not going to count that, I would start it off investigating Basis, which is the moon that you see in the sky on Halo, exploring all the wreckage, because that's what Burial Mounds is in Halo 2. That was meant to be on the surface of the planet on Halo's wreckage.
Okay.
And I would do that, and then have the player capture a Covenant ship, fly back to Earth to find it under attack, land in Mombasa, fight everyone, find out that the Covenant are trying to find something on Earth, and then I would have you visit a bunch of like interesting locations, specifically linked to ancient humanity. Like we have, like everybody knows of like, you know, not what do I call them? I guess there are conspiracy theories of, you know, that aliens helped build the pyramids and the Egyptians and the Aztecs and all that.
Yeah.
And I would send the player to visit the pyramids of Egypt, and then into the jungles of South America, and investigate like ancient things that are related to humanity. And with that, you would find out why 343 Guilty Spark had this whole connection with humanity, and why Spartans always have this innate understanding of Forerunner technology. And I would do this whole thing on Earth about discovering the origins of humanity and how we're linked to the Forerunner and what the Covenant want. And I would dive into the history of the Forerunners and also the inner workings of the Covenant that way, rather than doing like an Elite story.
Wow, that sounds pretty damn good, actually.
I don't know how I would end it, but I would definitely make that be the focus, about visiting iconic locations on Earth that have some sort of historical significance.
Yeah. And,
you know, really dive into, you know, what the Forerunners' role were in our own creation or evolution or whatever it is. I would basically dive into the whole thing that, you know, mankind really was altered by some extraterrestrial force, and that would have been the Forerunners. So that's how I would have done Halo 2.
Oh, I mean, it's a shame you didn't get the chance to, because that sounds really good, actually. I did always think with Halo 2, it was a shame they never, although you were on Earth, it didn't really feel like it that much, because all of the areas were, of course, made up. So it would have been very cool to see sort of, you know, the Halo world with iconic sort of parts of the world and see how they put that together. So yeah, I mean, hopefully you get to, that becomes an option one day.
Yeah, it's funny because when the first like footage of Halo 2 leaked and it showed Chief fighting on Delta Halo, I thought it was going to be like in South America and like the ancient Mayan ruins and stuff, or Aztec ruins, because we only had footage of it back then when that footage leaked, when the game got leaked in France. and you didn't have stuff like Twitter or as much widespread information. Like private web forums wouldn't really talk about leaked content like that from pirated games.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to get shut down. They didn't want that type of stuff in their communities. So it was like, even though the game was out there, it was really hard to get information on it. Mm. So when I saw the video, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, we're gonna go into like Amazon rainforest and then a game came out. And it's like, oh no, it's like on Halo, on another Halo.
Yeah. So with Halo 2, did you ever like the idea of dual wielding, or was that not something for you?
I always thought it was cool, but I think the execution of it isn't really that good. That's definitely something I would like to mess with in the future, if given the capability to do so.
Yeah, I always remember double needlers or double pistols just being basically impossible to stop. But that's also why you use them in multiplayer. So
yeah, it definitely has some cool ideas. It also has some problems, but finding a good way to balance those two is how I think you make a good game.
Hello everyone, thank you very much for watching. My name's Phil and I conducted this interview. That was part 1 of a 3-part interview with lead developer Masterz1337 of the Halo SPV3.2 team. A big thank you to Masterz1337 for this interview. To stay notified of any future releases and the next part, which will come out next week, click the bell icon and subscribe to stay notified. While you wait, check out some of our other videos on screen now. Until the next video everyone, thank you very much for watching.